What's happening guys? I hope you're all looking after yourselves and welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Rare One. Guys, do me a favor, please like, share and comment below. I want to know what you think after you've watched this video. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and select the all option on the notification bell so you get notified once I post. My social media handles are down there, my email also down there. Please feel free to reach me for anything. As some of you did reach me about my content 2 Saturdays ago on Modern Women Trigger a Lot. So this is my first response of many others to come. The question that I was asked by many of you who contacted me directly was, since modern women are struggling to get into relationships and when they get in one, they struggle to maintain it, what then should you do? And here is my first response. Allow yourselves the privilege to meet you. Majority of you do not know yourselves. You haven't met you. You don't understand you. You don't know if push comes to shove what you're capable of doing. Therefore, you do not understand your strengths and weaknesses, and you cannot present yourself as a brand you are, nor can you present yourself as an asset to a man. Remember, men are drawn to assets, not liabilities. So you must have to know you first of all. Self-awareness is very, very important. It's highly essential for you to succeed if you are one that's desiring a relationship with a man or looking to get married. You must know you. So allow yourselves the privilege of meeting you. By so doing, you gain more self-awareness, you mature more, you understand your strengths and weaknesses, you look at how you can develop in certain areas, improve yourself, and therefore know how to sell yourself as a brand. And when you meet men, you present your assets, not your expectations. All of these come from meeting you. Now, if you struggle to interpret what I have just said about allowing you the privilege of meeting you, do invest in counseling, a life coach or a relationship coach of some sort. Trust me, that will be money well spent. It's better than most of the nails and makeups and all the apparels that you people squander money on. Whilst those are pleasing, they do not support your cause. Now, bear in mind that as you get on the journey of meeting you, please note that you will or might disappoint you. You might disappoint the views and impressions you have of yourself. Some of you have pedestalized yourselves, you overvalue you, you've inflated your value and worth. Therefore, you're looking at you as here, whereas you might appear lower. Or some of you lack self-esteem and you underestimate yourselves, you put yourself down, you undervalue you, whereas you are up there. By meeting you, you will get to understand these things for yourself. Mind you, the process of meeting you would require certain steps, and those are not going to be easy. I will highlight them. The first one being, admit your past. By admitting your past, you are taking responsibility for the actions and roles that you have played that's brought you thus far, the roles that has landed you with the outcomes you have so far. You have to take responsibility and make peace that you are your first responsibility. Do not apportion blame to anybody else. Take accountability for your actions and you move. So remember, admit your past. By so doing, you take responsibility, you hold yourself accountable for your actions and the reasons that you have arrived at the place you are right now. And once you've done that, you have armed yourself, right? You gain more energy to move forward in the process of healing, in the process of meeting you, and in the process of becoming better. The next step is forgiving your errors. Forgiving your errors or forgiving you, whichever way you like to see it. But I tell you, this is a very big factor. Majority of you you don't like practical reason. You don't like to think. You don't like truth, right? You do not actually like criticism. Therefore, you deprive yourselves of every opportunity to look within, to see what you've gotten wrong. Not from a place of condemnation, but from a place of critical evaluation to see what you got wrong and how you can improve on that. As a result, you are your biggest enemies. You despise yourself, you detest you, you hate you, and all of the things that comes with it. For you to make progress on this journey, you must forgive you. Forgive your errors, right? Forgive your errors, take the lessons learned from them, and you move forward. Otherwise, it becomes a repetitive cycle. You get to this point, you can't forgive you. What you do is you apportion the blame to someone else, or men in general, or whatever, whomever the person's at. Forget about those guys that's disappointed you. This is a here and now. From this point that Rare One speaks to you, forgive the errors you've made that has brought you thus far, and look to the future you, which is the next thing. Invest in future you. So first one, admit your past, forgive your errors, and the third, investing in future you requires a lot of things, but a few of those include character development, unlearning your old ways, the things that has not given you your desired result till date, and learning new ways of doing things, new ways of portraying and presenting yourself, aka presenting your assets instead of your expectations, not acting as if the world owes you anything or men owe you anything, but realizing that life is transactional. It's about trade-offs and balances. You make better decisions having such mindset, completely looking at the process of transforming yourself, which is the next step. Embrace the required transformation towards the dream you. The process of transformation towards the dream you mandates that you do all you can to change your mindset, to see that you're operating from a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset, where you're looking at things from a tit-for-tat view, where you sell yourself short because you're trying to prove a point continuously, and at the end of the day, nobody cares to hear you. But from a growth mindset, you would realize and learn that perhaps you've been looking at the whole thing the wrong way. You've been picking men maybe the wrong way. You've been picking the wrong men, or maybe the criteria that you have are unrealistic, or some of the things that you have been picking men by, or how you've been finding these men, how you've been presenting yourself and positioning yourself for this desired relationship has all been wrong. Your strategy about it in general, if I may use that word, your strategy about meeting a life mate has been wrong. That would come from a growth mindset, because you then open yourself to the possibility of new information and learning what would help you achieve your desired outcome by meeting somebody, right, worthy of being in a relationship with, and or ending up in a marriage, having your own family and living peacefully or whatever after. Embrace the required transformation towards the dream you. Now, out of the first point, here is my last one. Once you have admitted your past, forgiven your errors, invested in future you, embrace the required transformation towards the dream you would rediscover yourself. You know how to do things differently, because they say madness is somebody trying one thing all the time, over and over, and expecting a different outcome. If you have tried it once, it didn't work. Second time, it didn't work. The third time, try something different, right? So by rediscovering you can now see clearly what you've done wrong, how you failed in the past, not from a place of condemnation, right? Not from a place of, now holding yourself hostage for the errors of the past, but by seeing how you failed in the past, you now would get an idea of how to do things better going forward, all geared towards achieving your desired outcome, result, being in a relationship, meeting a life mate, getting married, and having your own family, right? Now, once you have discovered yourself, understand that there will be necessary changes in your life, and some of them are going to be very, very hard. And one of those things means you might need to narrow your circle. You have to cut down the numbers. You might need to weed out the chaffs in your circle, the people who whisper some things that do not contribute to the cause, to your desire, to this thing that you want to achieve, to this goal of yours, to this thing that would give you fulfillment in life. You're gonna have to redefine the relationship you have with those people. You have to redefine the relationship you have with those people. And in the worst case scenario where you find that they're almost unmanageable, cut them off. That's always my last resort anyway, but I will advise you redefine, because sometimes some people are useful to you in one cause and not the other, or the dynamics of your relationship with people can constantly shift, and we often think that means things are dead. No, it's not. If you have an eye for opportunity, you would know that somebody who used to fit this bill maybe has outgrown that stage or that position or that relevance, right, that they had or maintained in your life, and now are best suited to other things. So you redefine your relationship with them and function differently. Don't cut them. Power and people are very important. Like when I say power, I mean network, the power of network and people. People are network. They are very, very important. They're crucial to how we live our lives, how we achieve, and etc., etc., etc. That's a different conversation altogether. But the point is this: once you have rediscovered you, note that you might need to make some necessary changes, and part of those changes would or could mean narrowing your circle and redefining your relationship with certain people around you. Once you have rediscovered yourself, you would need to make certain changes, and part of those changes might include narrowing your circle, weeding off the chaffs in your friendship circle, removing those people that you had around you that whisper all the negative things that has impacted your desire to meet a life mate, a husband, or be in a relationship with a man, of your dream. You might need to just redefine the relationship that you have with those persons. Now, once you've done that, you have to align yourself with people and paths that support what you are looking to achieve. And part of what you would need to align yourself with such people and paths means you would need mentoring. When you go for an interview, your employer is looking at many things. They're looking at your academic background, your experience, how you've carried and conducted yourself in the past when you've had difficult situations and scenarios, how you've handled them, a lot of things. But all of these things do not just get dumped on you by life once you were given birth to. You go through university, colleges, you go through, name it, different trainings to gain qualifications that substantiate the knowledge that you now will use, you will deploy when employed. That's the same thing with relationship, because relationships, as many people fail to realize, they think it's a playground. It's something that we just pluck like some fruit when we desire and munch it because it gives you certain nutrients and it has to be sweet. No, relationship is a full-time job. In fact, it's the first job, right? God gave men and women by the order of increase and multiply. How do you achieve that? He gave you a job. He hired both of you to fulfill that purpose. So if you're looking to be with somebody in a relationship, to have a life mate, to be married, to have a husband, you have applied for a role in the life of that man, to be his helpmate, to be his support, right? To play mate with him as you fulfill the God-given, the God-commanded purpose of union between man and woman. Relationships are full-time jobs. Marriage is a full-time job. Some days you're gonna wake up rooting for each other. Some days you probably despise each other for reasons that the world may never understand, but then you find your way past it. And that is why we must look past the shallow things that guides our decision in picking people. I will actually release a video on how women should look to pick men and all of that. Now, once you've attached or found yourself a mentor, somebody who would teach you, somebody who would help you gain or garner the skills and qualification that makes you a wife. Biblically, if I may reference, biblically it's written, he who finds a wife found a good thing. Didn't say he who finds a girl or finds a potential. It says found a wife. He who finds a wife. You need to be a wife before he finds you. He's finding you a wife. He's drawn to you as a wife. Wives are assets. Wives are not liabilities. Believe you me. So don't go out parading yourself the wrong way when you're not qualified yet. Find a mentor, someone older, someone your age, but it has to be somebody who has achieved what you're looking to achieve. How best to do it? Get somebody who's married. I don't know, if you're a person of faith, in your faith, right? Observe people around you and find a suitable person, the right person. I don't mean somebody who will give you yeses to what you think or sugarcoat things for you. You need somebody who will be very brutally honest with you, somebody who would hold you accountable when you get it wrong, right? But find yourself a mentor, somebody who would help you in that journey. And again, the best other mentors, because you can have as many mentors as you like, right? The best mentors are the people who are probably married, coupled up with the type of men that you have eye for, or the men that you would have understood now from meeting you and understanding you and rediscovering you, that are better suited for you, as opposed to maybe what you thought or where you were looking before. You know what I mean? So those type of men, you need to find their wives. Find them somehow, befriend them, ask them questions. That's how you're learning from somebody who has the know-how, the experience of what it's like to live with such men. You're picking up those skills. That way, when you meet him, he sees you as a very qualified candidate. Once you've found yourself a mentor, do ensure that you carry out your due diligence on men. You need to understand what men are, who men are, how men operate, what men, just observe men. Start with the men in your life. If you're still blessed to have your father around, start with him. It doesn't matter if he's a good or whatever man you think he is. Observe him and watch him. You will learn a thing or two, believe me. Don't go with pool of friends into the dens. You might find them, you might meet them. Go alone. Observe them from afar, or if you get close, just watch and observe them. You need to know when you're going for an interview, you research the company, don't you? You do your due diligence. You look at what their business is about, what they, how they've performed over the past few years, what they're doing now, what they look. You want to understand those things, and that's the same thing. Remember, relationships are full-time jobs, right? So do your due diligence on men. Understand what men are about, how men move, and how men function. I'll give you one tip. Men are very, very structural. We believe and follow hierarchy. The one who made us, we serve, and the one who serves us, we love and protect and provide for, right? But a different conversation. However, that's my tip to you. Now, once you've done that, in all of these things I've highlighted from the beginning, make sure to note the lessons learned. And now the next step. This might trigger some of you. Sit your ass down, put your computer in front of you, and prepare a physical resume. I don't mean in your head or no. Prepare a CV, and you need to detail what you are going to take to that job, why you are qualified for that relationship, for that man to be in his life. You need to detail these things. Again, never sell yourself a liability. Men are not drawn to liabilities. Men are drawn to assets. Period. It doesn't even matter, even if he's a cleaner. Men are drawn to assets, not liabilities. We are simple creatures. We don't like anything that stresses us out or complicates our life further than life has already, nature and environment has already done it for us. So we like simplicity, and most of all, men like their women to be supporters of our own peace of mind. Not genuinely that you are the sole provider of our peace of mind, but you support the cause. So when you are a liability, you cannot be a peace of mind, because you become an added burden. We don't want that. We want a life mate, a help mate. A help is supposed to help you resolve and iron and figure out what's any difficulties or obstacles or whatever impediments that you have in front of you. That's what help is there for, to help you resolve those things and continue to expedite the process of achieving your life dreams and goals. You're achieving your life purpose, which is another subject I will talk about. Many of you often misunderstand a man's purpose to exclude the woman's purpose, without realizing that once a man meets a woman and he chooses you as his wife, your purpose becomes part of his purpose. So his purpose has not remained same, but it's expanded. In fact, he has taken more responsibility, and that is why you must be an asset to him, not a liability, because he cannot be taking someone else's purpose in addition to his to champion the cause of all of that, only to find that you just don't even know what you're doing and who you are, what you're about. Because what you've done is this: you're gonna come in and expect him to pause and start figuring your shit out. Prepare a resume. Highlight and detail your strengths, your weakness. Detail your strengths, your experiences. The way you write yourself a job CV, write a CV. Only this time the aim is for get into a relationship with a man, or to get married, to have your own family. What qualifies you? How are you that woman? How are you? What skills, what strengths do you have that would be beneficial to that man of your dream? What do you have to offer him? Start answering those questions, and don't be repelled. Don't be upset by, I don't know, some people typically ask you, what do you bring to the table? But it's a very valid question. Believe me, if you can't answer that question, you don't know what you're doing. You have no place in a man's life, because all you're going there to do is cause calamity, maybe collect him as another casualty of yours, and you move on to the next one. You are detrimental to people that you come in contact with, because you don't know you. You have to know what you're about to offer somebody. You have to have a justifiable reason to get involved in somebody's life. Hey, I'm coming into your life because I want one deal. I want you to wife me. But when you wife me, this is what I bring with me. Simple. That's all that question is about. If you can't answer that question, then you have a very big problem that you have to start ironing out. Renounce the association, any affiliation with feminist movements, wokeism, and all the rest of those left extremists. You need to cut that out. If you're a person of faith and you're part of feminism, I question your faith, because God ain't stupid. All feminism has done so far is torn us further apart. Yes, there's been some benefits, but you cannot deify error just because it presents certain benefits. No way, it doesn't work. The truth is this: remove yourself from such circles, and you would start noticing some of these better results. Anyways, guys, I'll just leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment. I want to know what you think. Drop me an email or a message via my social media handles, TikTok or Instagram. And do me a favor, please like this video. It helps with algorithm. Do share it with people. I need to get my channel to 100 subscribers by the end of this month, July. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yourself, and thank you so much, guys. Stay rare. This is not from a place of silliness just to attack women. I am here. I promised to give you constructive feedbacks and criticisms and things that would support us to grow and become more unified. I am not here to tear us further apart, and that is why I've actually started with this first response. There's many more to come. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the support. So stay rare. If you don't know what rare is stay responsible, be accountable, intelligent, and rational. Stay rare, guys.